like to welcome everybody on this beautiful day. I can't remember the last time we had one of these. Either my memory's fading me or it's been a long winter. I'm Mayor Kenneth Burns of Pleasant Plains, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for coming, especially our veterans and their families. Whoops. May have to stand on that. And would also like to recognize our distinguished guests that have come here today. I'd also like to thank my wife and the volunteers who helped make this event possible by clearing and cleaning this site. This will be our new city park here in the future, and 2 weeks ago you wouldn't believe how this looked, and they put a lot of work and time and a lot of volunteer hours into this, and thank you. Today we have with us State Representative Michael John Gray, Mr. Wayne Duncan from Veterans Outreach, Miss Beatrice Moore, she is a French consul for Arkansas, Independence County Judge Robert Griffin, Miss Allison Litchy of Urban Forestry Program Coordinator, Bald Knob VFW Quartermaster Will Marler. We have local mayors and city representatives here from across the county, and I'm glad to see everybody turn out. We also have Vice Commander James Patrick from the Batesville VFW, and we would like to start off with one of the prettiest voices in the county, I believe, and that will be our national anthem by Miss Kerri Passmore.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
If you'll remain standing, I would like our prayer to be said by Mr. Barry Anderson.
Dear Heavenly Father, we want to take this time to thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for this beautiful weather that you have bestowed upon us as we dedicate this memorial to those that has lost their lives in the Great War. Lord, I ask that you pour your blessings out upon the families of those that have lost loved ones while protecting and serving for our country. Lord, just pour your blessings upon the veterans that are here today. Lord, we ask that those that are serving, the brothers and sisters that are serving our country today, that are standing in harm's way, Lord, that you bring them home safely. These things in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
I'd like to start off with Miss Beatrice Moore. She is our French Consul for Arkansas.
Thank you. Elected officials, veterans, families and friends, it is a great honor for me as a French, as a European, to be here for this very special ceremony. And also to commemorate the end of World War I, 100 years ago. I would like to thank everybody who put together this ceremony. It's a nice and great event. I would like to thank you for coming and show your support for the veterans. Today, I act on behalf of France, who wishes to express its deepest gratitude to all the veterans, to all the Americans, the young Americans, who came, leaving their homeland, leaving their loved one, to help us recover our honor and freedom. Today, we celebrate the end of World War I, also called the Great War. In Europe, it started in 1914, and it involved 65 million people. We have lost millions of soldiers. It was a hell. It was almost called the Great Butchery of the century in our history. On April 6, 1917, the United States of America came to help us. And today I want to thank you. Thank the young men from Pleasant Plain, Independence County, and the United States of America to come, because it was committing to a noble cause. It was for the free world. It was for peace. Today we remember the veterans of World War I, but I must say we need to remember all the veterans. Behind each veteran there is a son, a daughter, a wife, a husband, a father, a mother, and I would like to thank the families of the veterans for their sacrifice. France and the United States are always united. I was in Washington last Tuesday when the President of France came to visit for this state visit that's really important for us. He gave a tree to the President of the United States, because a tree, it's a symbol of hope. It's a symbol of life. It's because people sacrificed their lives, because people believe that it was a noble cause, because people believe in helping each other, that we have today freedom in France, that Europe is at peace, I hope, for a long time. Whenever and wherever our shared values are in danger, France and the United States stand shoulder to shoulder to defend them. Today we remember, but tomorrow needs to be our children and grandchildren to remember. It's why I ask you, and I tell you, remembering is a duty. It's our duty. We need to have gratitude and respect for those who fought yesterday, who fight today, for those who died yesterday and will die today. I thank you for this ceremony. I thank you for the symbol of life. I have here a little soil from my country, but it comes from the American cemetery, the largest American cemetery in Europe. And I want to tell you that it's with emotion that I'm going to put the soil here. And I wish that everybody can stop and pay their respect. And remember, we must not fear. We need to fight to protect our freedom, our peace. And it's the peace of the world that we need to help. I thank you. God bless America and vive la France. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very, very nice. Our next speaker will be our state representative for this area, Michael John Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couldn't have ordered up a better day for this. Maybe a little less wind, but it sure is nice. I first want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank all of y'all for being here today. I want to congratulate Mayor Burns and the leadership in Pleasant Plains and in Independence County for having such a significant memorial right here in Pleasant Plains. I think sometimes those of us from small towns or small parts of counties wonder where things like this happen, and to have it happening right here in Pleasant Plains is a very big deal, and congratulations to all of you that were a part of getting this done. There were 72 odd thousand Arkansans that went to war in World War I. A little over 2,200 didn't make it home. So that 72,000 Arkansans that went overseas to fight for us, that left countless mothers, brothers, fathers, grandmothers at home who, I thought about as when the mayor invited me to come up, about World War I and what it looked like, and to think that those soldiers that went to fight for us, their parents and grandparents had just seen the Civil War and a country torn apart, and yet those soldiers went to fight because they knew it mattered. And then when they came home, those 70,000 Arkansans that got to come home, they in turn saw their sons and daughters and family members go off to the next war. So often we talk about World War II and the wars that followed, but the significance of those soldiers that went to fight for us in World War I and the horrors they had seen before and what they had to suffer after should never be forgotten. So the fact that we can be a part of commemorating that memory here, not just for those that went and served, but for those families, for those that came home to strife, and some that sent sons and daughters back off to war shortly after they got home. But not just for the veterans of World War I, but for all those veterans that fought and came home, or those that are still 21 years old somewhere on the beaches in Normandy, or the jungles of Vietnam, or the deserts of the Middle East that we've seen in recent years. This is here to remember all of those and the dedication that not just they, but all of their families gave for us. So if you're a veteran, if you're a family member of a veteran, if you're a friend of a veteran, thank you for being there for them. And to all of you, thank you what you've done for us. It's a very exciting moment for Pleasant Plains, and I'm happy to be a part of it. God bless all.
Independence County is divided in 2 districts, and for our state representatives, and our second representative to speak will be James Sturch.
Thank you, Mayor Burns. It's good to be here. Michael John gets Pleasant Plains. I get the beautiful town of Floral. And so we kind of say we share this area, but I'm very, very glad to be here today. Glad that you're here today. I think it's already been said, as you know, this is the only tree that will be planted in Independence County commemorating World War I and the veterans that served and those that we have lost. And as Miss Beatrice so eloquently said, France and the United States have had a relationship since the very beginning. As you know, that without France's help, the American Revolution could have turned off a whole lot different than what it was. But I'm reminded of a story that I learned way back when I was teaching school. And it goes back to a man named John Adams. You may have heard of him. The year is 1825, and he's long since retired in Massachusetts. And this young man, fresh out of Harvard, comes to visit him. His name is Ralph Waldo Emerson. And a lot about what that conversation took place we know from Emerson's diary. And he said at one point in their conversation, President Adams said, "I wish to God that there was more ambition in the country. But by ambition, I mean of the laudable kind, the ambition to excel." Wouldn't it be wonderful today if what we do here and what we do to instill in the next generation of young people that old, noble ambition to excel. Excel in their studies, excel in their work and their service to others. I think that's what we do when we plant a living symbol, one that people can point to and show this is what this means, or this is what we stand for. I encourage you to not just let history be something that's taught in history books, but let history be something that's taught at home, and the lessons of history be taught at home. So thank you very much for being here, and God bless you.
And now our Independence County Judge, Robert Griffin.
There's not enough can be said to honor our veterans, to show our respect to our veterans, and that's something that must be done every day. But what this represents is a termination of 100 years from the end of a conflict, but it's resulting in a new life here. And this new beginning is what's going to be on this whole site, a new beginning that as France was a partner with the United States, Independence County is a partner with Pleasant Plains. We will be here as a partner, as I've done across this county, and we're going to help make this site what it needs to be. And Mayor, be sure that you mark this where my guys on big equipment never get anywhere close to it. But this is a partnership, and I'm proud to be a part of this ceremony. Beatrice, I loved your speech. Thank all of you for being here, and God bless the United States.
Next we'll have Bald Knob VFW Quartermaster, Will Marler.
Thank you, Mayor. As a veteran, you can't believe the feeling that you have when you come home from battle. The way you're greeted or not greeted. But over time, time heals all wounds. When I came back from Vietnam, I was not blessed with my homecoming. But now I can go into Walmart as a veteran, and young men and women, like those sitting in the audience, come up to me and say, "Thank you for your service." That is a blessing beyond belief. I have been blessed my entire career. I retired in 1994 as a command sergeant major. I deployed to Vietnam. I deployed to Desert Storm. And I deployed to Somalia. In all those times, I can take them and put them in the fist of my hand, the bad times I had. The rest of the time was great. The comradeship with those I served with from all services. I even had the opportunity to train with the French at their commando school in Trier. That was a privilege and an honor. But most of all, our veterans give up daily, and they still are. But you know what? The families give up just as much. Don't forget the families. Because when the husbands and brothers and sisters and all come home, it's a reacquainted time again. And sometimes there's turmoil. And that's what we need to continue doing. Bringing them together, helping those families as you have here by commemorating this tree. This is a tree of life. It is living. And may God bless this tree, and may God bless America. Thank you.
And last but not least, Miss Allison Litchy. She's the Urban Forestry Program Coordinator.
Hi, I want to welcome everybody. I'm so happy to see such a wonderful turnout for this event. Both Kenny Smothers, and I both work for the Arkansas Forestry Commission. We've only played a small role in this, but we're really happy to be able to partner with you guys. For me, trees represent a symbol of strength, hope, and endurance, and the species we selected today is a willow oak. Willow oak was chosen for every county in Arkansas for this program, and it's a species that's native throughout the entire state, as well as it's very hardy and resilient. So we know that this tree is going to last for the long haul. I really want to thank everybody that has put this program together. It's been so well received. We're really, really happy to be able to assist with this. This is also going to be combined with the Arbor Day celebration. So this is just one step on the way for Pleasant Prairie to become a Tree City, USA. And so this is the fun part as well. So planting this tree is helping establish the ecosystem here and showing the framework for action that this community cares about trees. Batesville, also in this county, is a Tree City and a great leader and example for this community to base off of. So we're really, really happy to partner in the future with planting more trees and getting more green space out in this area. So thank you so much.
Well, this is not just a great day for our community, but is also for all our communities in Independence County. I'm glad to see the mayors from the other cities here and council members. Thank y'all for coming. This tree is for everyone. This tree not only memorializes those who had fought and served during World War I, but also the sacrifices of their families gave also. There are no longer any survivors still living from the Great War, but there are generations here today who proudly served in other wars since. 100 years ago, the world was engaged in a great combat, a fiery trail, as President Wilson called it. This war, Wilson said, was distressing and oppressive duty, but it was a war worth fighting, a war for democracy, for the right of those who submit to authority and have a voice of their own governments, for the rights and liberties of small nations, for peace and safety to all nations, and to make the world itself at least free. Civilization itself, he said, hung in the balance. Wilson asked Congress to approve the war, saying the day has come when America is privileged to spend her blood and her might for the principles that gave her birth and happiness and the peace which she treasured. God helping her, she could do no other. And fight we did. The United States sent nearly 2 million men in American Expeditionary Force, forming nearly 50 combat divisions. Some volunteered, some were drafted, but all fought for honor, manhood, comrades, and adventure, but especially for duty. More than 200,000 American doughboys were wounded in combat, and some 53,000 died of their wounds, including more than 2,000 Arkansans. Arkansans fought on the land, at sea, and in the skies to defend the people of France and Belgium. Soldiers, sailors, and Marines from Arkansas were involved in some of the fierce fighting of the war, including the first fight between American and German troops. When the war came to a close, nearly 72,000 Arkansans had been brought into service and served in some capacity. We commemorate that service today with the planting of this memorial tree. This practice was common in the years after the Great War, and many such trees were planted across the state and our nation. Along with this tree is a small amount of French soil, a symbol to remind us of the connection between France and the United States, and indeed the great state of Arkansas. On behalf of the Arkansas State World War I Centennial Commemoration Committee, thank you for honoring those men and women for Arkansas who fought to defend our freedom in the Great War. During World War I, there was 15 people from Independence County that did not make it back. I will read their names and the cities that they're from and their rank. 4 of those didn't make it back to U.S. soil. Private John W. Barnett from Sulphur Rock. Private William T. Baugh from Cushman. Merritt H. Boswell from Newark. William G. Bridges from Magnus, he's buried in France. John C. England from Batesville. Private William D. French from Elmo, he is also buried in France. Private Lloyd Gower from Newark. Private Neil Griffin from Elmo. Private Claude W. Highland from Newark, buried in France. Private Amos P. McKinney from Batesville. Private Charles M. McKinney from Newark. Private Paul E. Ray from Newark. Roy S. Sexton from Elmo. He is also buried in France. Mechanic Clint J. Smith from Oiltrough, and Private Robert Staggers from Cord. And at this time, would y'all please come forward and we will plant the tree. Judge. Go ahead. Come here, yeah.
Which one of you gonna get on your hands and knees and do like supposed to?
Yeah. That's the mayor.
That's what the mayor's gonna do. Okay, okay.
I'm counting on fire chief being the
Oh, no.
Yeah. Come on, Kenny, get down there now.
Yes, you can.
Kenny's feet.
Brought y'all here to do all the work.
Yeah, something. As normal, let the ladies finish up the job.
Yeah.
Best way to get work out of it, so, right?
I've also got a flag to commemorate the tree, which will stay here with the tree. World War II memorial tree, and it talks about the 72,000 that served and the 2,183 that did not return. All right, thank you all. I've got one more announcement here to do. Folks, we have one more thing to do here. Also, I'd like you to know that Forestry has brought some red oak saplings to give out if anyone wants it, and also some pines. Of course, you see how big the pines get here, and you do see all those pine cones that have to be picked up. So, all right, this is the proclamation. Today, the city is our Arbor Day, and the proclamation is, whereas on April 28th, 2018 is Arbor Day in Pleasant Plains. And whereas the city of Pleasant Plains is proud of its street, park, and home garden trees and recognizes the importance of tree care and appreciation and the contribution of such to a cleaner and healthier environment. Now therefore, I, Kenneth Burns, Mayor of the city of Pleasant Plains, hereby proclaim that April 28th will hereby be Arbor Day, and urge all residents to observe this day by recognizing the importance of trees have in brightening our lives. Thank you. This concludes our ceremony. Thank you all for coming.
It make
popular.
How you doing? Thanks again for giving me that haircut that day. That was a busy day for me.
Okay, I'll be over Monday. We're gonna be here, and I'm gonna get some coffee. Bring it Sunday. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Because somebody walked up to me and said, "Hey, that's all they say. I can't think of it. That's all they say. Thank you."
Yeah. Probably help.
Well, you might want to take yeah, like he had done.
I'm glad you're better. Yeah, because I thought about it.
We're getting a lake back over here. And I'd like to see that dug out.
Nobody told me.
Yeah, I know, but it had a good point.